Barry Gibb, the last surviving member of the Bee Gees, is a figure whose life has been marked by extraordinary musical success and deep personal tragedy. Born in 1946 in Douglas, Isle of Man, Barry grew up in a family where music was always present. Alongside his brothers, Robin and Maurice, he would go on to form one of the most successful groups in music history. The Bee Gees became famous for their falsetto harmonies, timeless ballads, and unforgettable disco hits that shaped the sound of multiple decades. Barry's voice, the high, emotional falsetto that became a trademark of the group, carried the emotions of love, loss, and joy that resonated with millions around the world. However, behind the glittering stage lights and the fame was a man who experienced profound loss and sorrow. Over the years, Barry witnessed the passing of each of his brothers and the personal struggles of his youngest sibling, Andy Gibb, leaving him as the only one left to carry their legacy. While the public sees Barry as a music legend, he is also a man still living with grief and memory, a man for whom certain songs hold a special and painful significance. Music, which once brought him joy, now sometimes brings tears, as it reminds him of the brothers he loved and lost. The emotional weight of being the last surviving Bee Gee is something that Barry carries quietly, even as he continues to perform to adoring audiences who may never fully understand the depth of what is endured. The story of Barry Gibb's grief is inseparable from the story of his family, especially his brothers. The Bee Gees were not just a musical group. They were a family. Barry, Robin, and Maurice grew up together, sharing childhood dreams and the ups and downs of a life devoted to music. Their youngest brother, Andy, though not officially part of the Bee Gees, was also part of their musical world. Barry, as the eldest, often took on a protective and guiding role, helping Andy navigate the pressures of a budding career in music. Andy, born in 1958, quickly rose to fame in his own right, becoming a teenage pop star with hits like Shadow Dancing and Love is Thicker Than Water. Despite his success, Andy struggled with addiction and personal insecurities that weighed heavily on him and those around him. Barry tried to help Andy, stepping into the complex role of brother, mentor, and sometimes manager. The death of Andy in 1988, just 5 days after his 30th birthday, was a devastating blow for Barry. He had hoped to guide Andy, to protect him, and to share a close bond, but his brother's sudden passing left a wound that never fully healed. Barry rarely spoke publicly about Andy's struggles, and he often avoided performing Andy's songs in public. This grief was private, deep, and carried silently, marking the beginning of a series of losses that would profoundly shape Barry's life, his music, and his emotional connection to certain songs. After Andy's death, Barry's world became even lonelier as he faced the passing of his Bee Gee brothers, Maurice and Robin. Maurice, the quiet and dependable twin, was a stabilizing force in the group. He was often the glue that held the Bee Gees together, smoothing tensions and maintaining harmony between Barry and Robin when disagreements arose. In 2003, Maurice passed away suddenly at the age of 53 due to complications from surgery. His death left Barry reeling, forcing him to continue performing and creating music without the brother who had always been his anchor. For Barry, Maurice's absence was not just personal but professional, as the trio had shared decades of musical collaboration, emotional support, and life experiences. Then, in 2012, Robin, Barry's musical twin, died after a long battle with cancer. Robin's voice had always been inseparable from Barry's in their music, creating harmonies that only brothers could achieve. Losing Robin was like losing a part of himself. Barry became the sole surviving Bee Gee, carrying the burden of memories, songs, and emotional legacy of family that had been central to his life. Each performance became a reminder of those he had lost, a mixture of pride in the music and sorrow for the voices that were no longer beside him. The phrase, the last Bee Gee, may sound like an honor, but for Barry, it is a heavy reality, one filled with remembrance, grief, and a sense of responsibility to preserve the memory of his brothers through song. Amid these losses, certain songs hold special emotional significance for Barry, most notably Immortality, a song written by the Bee Gees for Celine Dion in 1997. Initially, the song was not personal. It was a ballad meant to showcase Celine's voice, not to reflect the grief or experiences of the Gibb brothers. However, the song's themes of enduring love, memory, and strength took on a new meaning for Barry after the deaths of Maurice and Robin. The Bee Gees had recorded their harmonies behind Celine's vocals, a layering that gave the song an ethereal quality. For Barry, those harmonies became ghostly reminders of the brothers he had lost. Singing Immortality on stage transformed the song from professional collaboration into a deeply personal performance. Every note, every lyric about living on and not saying goodbye, reminded him of the moments shared in the studio, of laughter, of arguments, of creativity that could never be replicated. What had once been a song for someone else became a song that carried his personal grief, turning each performance into an emotional journey that the audience could feel, even if they did not fully understand it. The weight of the harmonies left behind by his brothers, preserved in recording, became both a comfort and a source of tears, illustrating the powerful intersection of music and memory. Beyond Immortality, Barry also carries a memory of Andy through music, particularly in songs that Andy himself performed. Andy's brief but brilliant career was marked by hits like I Just Want to Be Your Everything, which Barry had written for him. Watching Andy achieve success was both a source of pride and worry for Barry, as he saw the pressures and insecurities that came with fame. Andy's death was sudden and shocking, leaving Barry with regret and questions he could never answer. Music became a vessel for remembrance and unspoken emotions. Barry's avoidance of Andy's songs and public performances was not a rejection, but a reflection of the private grief he carried. The rumored recordings Andy left behind, kept by Barry and never released, add a layer of mystery and solemnity to his mourning. These songs, whether heard by the public or kept private, symbolize the love, hope, and sorrow that Barry carries, showing that music is not just performance, but memory preserved through sound, voice, and emotion. Another deeply significant song in Barry's life is I Started a Joke, written by Gibb and released in 1968. The song, known for its haunting melody and Robin's quivering vocals, became a global hit. Its lyrics, about sorrow, misunderstanding, and existential reflection, were already emotionally powerful. However, after Robin's passing, I Started a Joke took on an entirely new meaning for Barry. Singing it alone, without his brother's voice to harmonize with, turned performance into a tribute and a personal act of mourning. The stage, once filled with the voices of all three brothers, became a place where Barry faced memories and absence. Audiences could feel the weight of emotion in his voice, the pauses, the glances, and the tremors that carried the unspoken grief of losing family members. The song transformed from entertainment to remembrance, highlighting the unique blend of artistry and personal sorrow that defines Barry's performances today. It illustrates how music can evolve over time, taking on new significance in response to life's experiences, tragedies, and memories. That Barry's performances today are imbued with subtle gestures and signs of enduring grief. Observant fans notice pauses in the middle of songs, glances to the side of the stage, and moments when his voice catches unexpectedly. These are not theatrical or staged. They are glimpses into the heart of a man still mourning, still expecting the harmonies of his brothers to join him. Each song is a mixture of celebration and memory, of joy and sorrow. Fans may hear history, but Barry feels absence. Every note reminds him not only of success, but also of the gaps left by those who are gone. The applause of thousands is often muted in his own perception, overshadowed by the loss of companionship, of voices, and of shared creative energy. In these moments, the audience witnesses the intersection of artistry and human emotion, a rare and profound connection that transcends a typical concert experience. That Barry's reflections in interviews reveal the depth of this emotional landscape. He has spoken about hearing the voices of his brothers when he sings, waiting for harmonies that will never arrive, and feeling the quiet weight of being the last BG. His grief is layered, connecting past, present, and memory, and is inseparable from the music that defined his life. It is not about chart success, public recognition, or nostalgia. It is about family, brotherhood, and the enduring presence of love through sound. This connection between loss and music shows how deeply personal experiences can shape performance, transforming songs from professional work into vessels of memory and emotion. Barry's story is a reminder that behind every song, there can be a story of love, grief, and survival that the public may never fully see, but that resonates profoundly when glimpsed through the artist's eyes. The legacy of the Bee Gees, carried now solely by Barry, is a combination of music, history, and human emotion. While the public celebrates their hits and harmonies, Barry lives with the private reality of what has been lost. Songs like Immortality and I Started a Joke are no longer just music. They are symbols of brothers lost, moments never repeated, and memories preserved in notes and lyrics. For Barry, performing these songs is an act of remembrance, a way to keep his brothers alive through music, and a way to process grief that spans decades. His voice, falsetto, and emotional delivery serve as both tribute and confession, showing audiences that music can carry more than entertainment. It can carry the essence of those we love. Even after they are gone, in conclusion, Barry Gibb's life at 78 is a tapestry woven from extraordinary musical achievement and profound personal sorrow. He has survived the loss of his brothers, the struggles of his youngest sibling, and the responsibilities of being the last living member of a legendary group. Music has been his lifeline, his memory, and his emotional expression. Songs like Immortality, I Started a Joke, and Andy's unreleased recordings are more than just melodies. They are conduits of memory, grief, and love. Every performance carries the echoes of the voices he lost, the harmonies that shaped his life, and the emotions that remain with him. Barry's story is a testament to the power of music to connect us to those we love, to preserve memory, and to express feelings that words alone cannot convey. For Barry, each song is a bridge between past and present, between joy and sorrow, between life and memory, and it is in this space that he continues to perform, mourn, and celebrate the legacy of the Bee Gees. Even as Barry Gibb continues to perform and share his music with the world, the stage has become a place where memory and presence intertwine in ways that go beyond entertainment. Every song carries layers of meaning, not only for the audience, but deeply for Barry himself. When he steps onto the stage, he is surrounded by applause, lights, and the energy of fans who have loved the Bee Gees' music for decades. But he also steps into a quiet world of absence. The empty spaces where his brothers once stood are felt in every note, every pause, and every harmony that he must now imagine in his mind. Fans may notice the subtle changes in performances, a longer pause before a chorus, a glance toward an empty spot on the stage, a tremor in his voice during a particularly emotional line. These are not mistakes or theatrics. They are glimpses into the heart of a man still mourning and still listening for the voices of those who shaped his life and career. Songs that once celebrated joy, love, or disco-fueled energy have taken on deeper meanings. Immortality, for instance, which was originally written as a collaboration with Celine Dion, now resonates with Barry as a song of remembrance and endurance, a testament to the bonds that survive even after death. Similarly, I Started a Joke, Robin Gibb's haunting masterpiece, carries the weight of a brotherly connection that can no longer be harmonized live, but exists vividly in Barry's memory and voice. Beyond these specific songs, almost every performance Barry gives today is layered with reflection, nostalgia, and grief. The music becomes a mirror, reflecting the past, the family moments in recording studios, the laughter, arguments, and creative exchanges that were once shared freely and now live only in recollection. While the audience hears entertainment and historical music, Barry experiences something far more personal. The presence of those he loved, the echo of harmonies, and the unspoken words that can never be sung again. Even in interviews, his voice often breaks when he speaks of his brothers, whether discussing Andy's struggles and early death or Robin and Morris's untimely passing. The careful pauses, the downcast eyes, and the occasional deep breath before continuing are silent testaments to a grief carried quietly over decades. Yet, it is this same grief that gives his music extraordinary emotional depth. The audience may not know the full story, but they feel it in his delivery, the emotion behind each note, and the sincerity in every word. Barry's journey is a living example of how art can carry memory, love, and sorrow simultaneously, transforming performances into intimate experiences of human emotion. Being the last surviving Bee Gee is not just a title. It is a responsibility and a burden, and Barry honors it by keeping the voices of his brothers alive, allowing the world to experience the legacy of the Bee Gees, while also quietly mourning what has been lost. Music, for Barry, is no longer just a profession. It is a living memorial, a bridge to the past, and a medium through which he continues to communicate with those who are no longer physically present, but remain forever intertwined with his life and art. Barry Gibb's life story is not just one of fame, hits, and global recognition. It is also a story of resilience in the face of loss and personal tragedy. While the Bee Gees' music brought joy to millions, Barry's personal journey was marked by moments that tested his strength and shaped the man he is today. Losing his youngest brother Andy in 1988 was a first profound blow, one that left Barry grappling with a sense of helplessness and regret that he carried quietly for decades. Andy's death was sudden, coming just days after his 30th birthday, and it was not just a loss of a family member. It was a reminder of the fragility of life, even for those who seemed destined for success. Barry had been both a mentor and a brother, guiding Andy through the challenges of fame, pressure, and public scrutiny, but even his guidance could not prevent the heartbreak. The shadow of Andy's struggles and the pain of his passing remained a constant presence, influencing Barry's relationship with music and his approach to performing. When the loss of his other brothers, Maurice and Robin, followed in subsequent years, the grief compounded, creating an emotional landscape that few could truly understand. Morris's death in 2003, at just 53 years old, struck at the heart of the Bee Gees' familial and musical structure. Known as a steady anchor of the group, Morris's presence was often quiet but deeply felt. He was a brother who held balance and calm amidst creative differences and the pressures of global fame. Losing him not only altered the dynamic on stage, but left Barry with a profound absence that could not be filled. Then came Robin in 2012, Barry's partner in music and harmonies since childhood, whose passing after a long battle with cancer left Barry as the sole surviving Gibb brother. Each loss transformed Barry's connection to the songs he had once performed with his siblings. Tracks that had once been about joy, love, or collaboration took on new, deeply personal meanings, imbued with memory and grief. For instance, when performing songs like Immortality with Celine Dion, the layers of harmony that included his brothers' voices became ghostly reminders of those who were no longer there. Even classics like I Started a Joke, originally Robin's song, were transformed when Barry performed them alone. The stage no longer held just music. It held absence, remembrance, and the echoes of decades of shared creativity. These performances are not mere concerts. They are acts of memorialization, moments where Barry channels his memories and emotions into every note. Audiences may witness the talent and enjoy the music, but what Barry experiences is far more complex. A blend of nostalgia, sorrow, and the quiet presence of his brothers in every harmony, every pause, and every lyric. His life has become a testament to the enduring power of music, to preserve memory and connection, even when those who originally created it are gone. Each song is a conversation, a tribute, and a bridge to the past. For Barry, the Bee Gees' music is not just a catalog of hits, but a living archive of love, family, and brotherhood. It is a reminder of what was, what is lost, and what continues to live on through the voices he carries within himself. In this way, Barry's performances are deeply human experiences, connecting the audience to the universal themes of loss, memory, and the enduring bonds of family, even as they celebrate the artistry that made the Bee Gees legends. The profound emotional weight behind his music elevates every song beyond its original intent, allowing listeners to witness not only a musical performance, but also the quiet resilience of a man who continues to honor his brothers with every note he sings. One of the most remarkable aspects of Barry Gibb's journey is how he has managed to channel his grief into something that continues to inspire and move audiences worldwide. While most people see the Bee Gees' music as a celebration of disco, pop, and harmonies, for Barry, each song carries the weight of memory, loss, and the bonds that can never be broken, even by death. Performing has become a complex act for him, combining artistry, remembrance, and an intimate dialogue with the past. When Barry steps onto the stage, he does not simply sing. He converses with the echoes of his brothers, filling the spaces they once occupied with the power of his own voice and the memories of shared moments. This is particularly evident in songs like Love Somebody or Words, where every note and pause can evoke layers of nostalgia, longing, and emotional resonance that go far beyond the lyrics themselves. Even songs originally meant for other artists, like Immortality for Celine Dion, are transformed in Barry's hands into deeply personal reflections on family, loss, and endurance. The harmonies he recorded with Robin and Maurice, once subtle additions in a collaborative track, now resonate in his mind as ghostly presences, reminding him that while the world may applaud his talent, the people he truly wishes to share it with are gone. Fans often notice subtle changes in his performances, such as a longer pause, a tremor in his voice, or a fleeting glance toward an empty spot on the stage, moments that reveal the invisible companions he still imagines beside him. Interviews with Barry further reinforce the emotional weight he carries. Even as he discusses his career and success of the Bee Gees, his tone can shift when speaking of Andy, Robin, or Maurice, as though the conversation itself is a bridge to memories too vivid to contain. In these moments, his humility, vulnerability, and humanity shine through, showing that fame and accomplishment do not shield anyone from grief. Instead, they amplify the ways loss can touch a life. For Barry, the power of music lies not only in its ability to entertain, but also in its ability to preserve memory, honor those who are gone, and offer a connection that transcends time. It is this combination of artistry and emotional truth that makes Barry Gibb's story so compelling. He continues to sing not just for the audience, but for the brothers he lost, ensuring that their voices and legacies remain alive through every performance. Each song becomes a living memorial, a testament to resilience of family bonds and the enduring nature of love and creativity. Even decades after the heights of disco fame and chart-topping hits, Barry's music remains imbued with raw human emotion, allowing listeners to feel the full spectrum of experience he has lived through, from joy and triumph to sorrow and mourning. It is this emotional authenticity that makes every concert, every note, and every lyric so profoundly moving. While the world celebrates the Bee Gees for their unforgettable melodies and falsetto harmonies, Barry's personal journey reminds us that behind the music lies a story of survival, remembrance, and the quiet courage it takes to continue honoring those who can no longer stand beside us. This depth of feeling transforms each performance into an intimate act of storytelling, offering audiences not just a song, but a window into a life marked by love, loss, and the enduring power of music to keep memory alive. In a world where fame can often overshadow humanity, Barry Gibb's story serves as a rare example of how grief, artistry, and family can coexist, shaping performances that are as emotionally powerful as they are musically brilliant. Barry Gibb's connection to his brother's voices goes far beyond nostalgia. It is an essential part of how he experiences music and performs even today. While fans hear melodies, lyrics, and harmonies, Barry hears the lives, memories, and personalities of the brothers who shaped not only his career, but also his identity. When performing songs like I Started a Joke or To Love Somebody, he is not just delivering a performance. He is communicating with the past, reliving moments in the studio, and keeping alive the essence of the people he loved most. Every note carries emotional resonance. Each pause is weighted with remembrance, and every falsetto sung alone echoes the absence of Robin and Maurice. This intimate relationship with music is perhaps what makes Barry's live performances so uniquely moving. Audiences may feel nostalgia, joy, or appreciation for Bee Gees' timeless catalog, but few truly grasp the layers of memory and grief embedded in each performance. For Barry, the stage is both a place of celebration and confrontation. He celebrates the music he helped create and the fans who still adore it, but he also confronts the absence of his brothers in a tangible way. Moments that might appear small to a casual observer, such as a glance toward an empty side of the stage, a slightly longer hesitation before a line, or a subtle tremble in his voice, carry profound significance. These gestures, often unintentional, reveal a man deeply attuned to what has been lost, yet determined to honor it through his art. Beyond the stage, Barry's reflections and interviews offer further insight into how he navigates his grief. Even decades after Andy's death, he speaks sparingly but meaningfully about the youngest brother, whose life and struggles remain a source of quiet pain. Similarly, conversations about Robin and Maurice are always infused with respect, love, and the subtle ache of remembrance. Barry's ability to translate these private emotions into public performances is a rare skill, one that elevates his work from mere entertainment to an immersive human experience. Music becomes a bridge between the present and the past, a space where loss, love, and artistry coexist. For instance, in performing Immortality with its layered harmonies and emotional depth, Barry not only showcases the Bee Gees' songwriting genius, but also transforms the track into a living memorial. The background harmonies, once simply a compliment to Celine Dion's voice, now serve as ghostly presences of his brothers, intertwining memory with melody. In this way, every concert becomes a conversation with absence, a chance to keep the voices of Andy, Maurice, and Robin alive while engaging the audience in profound emotional dialogue. Even songs written decades ago take on new meaning when performed today, as Barry filters every lyric through layers of personal history, grief, and survival. This depth of emotional connection adds a unique authenticity to his performances, one that transcends technical skill and stagecraft. Listeners sense the weight behind every word and harmony, even if they do not know the full story. Barry's journey as the last surviving BG highlights how music can serve as a vessel for memory, a tool for emotional preservation, and a medium through which love and loss are eternally intertwined. He continues to perform not only for his fans, but for his brothers' legacies, allowing the music to remain alive, relevant, and deeply human. In an era when so much performance is focused on spectacle, Barry Gibb demonstrates that true artistry lies in the ability to convey life's complexities, the joys, the heartbreaks, the regrets, and the enduring bonds, through the power of song. Each note he sings today is not just a melody, but a story, a tribute, and a testament to the resilience of man who carries the voices of the past while still moving forward in the present. The emotional depth of Barry Gibb's music is inseparable from the story of the Bee Gees as a family, and this connection becomes even more poignant when considering the pressures and challenges they face along the way. While the world often saw them as a harmonious trio dominating charts and disco floors, behind the scenes, the brothers navigated complex relationships, creative differences, and the weight of fame from an early age. Growing up in Manchester and later Australia, Barry, Robin, and Maurice learned the value of music as both a passion and a shared identity. Music was more than a career. It was the glue that held them together as brothers and as collaborators. Yet alongside that bond were tensions, rivalries, and moments of miscommunication, all of which are natural in any family, but magnified by public attention and the stakes of their success. These dynamics, while sometimes hidden from fans, shaped the emotional landscape that Barry now carries in the performances. The sudden deaths of Andy, Maurice, and Robin added layers of complexity, as Barry had to reconcile his grief with the responsibility of continuing the Bee Gees' legacy alone. Each performance, each recording session, is thus influenced by decades of shared experiences, both joyful and painful. This is why songs like I Started a Joke, originally written and sung by Robin, carry such a powerful resonance. When Barry performs it today, it is not simply a cover or a continuation of a popular hit. It is an act of remembrance, a personal tribute, and an acknowledgement of what has been lost. Similarly, Immortality, which Barry co-wrote for Celine Dion, transforms from a beautifully composed ballad into a vessel of memory, where the voices of his brothers continue to live in every harmony and note. Audiences, even if unaware of the full context, often feel the weight of these performances, sensing that something deeper is at play than mere entertainment. This emotional transparency is rare in the music world, where performance is frequently polished, rehearsed, and detached from personal history. Barry's ability to infuse each song with lived experience allows listeners to engage with the music on multiple levels. As fans, as humans, and as witnesses to a life shaped by extraordinary triumphs and profound loss. Over the years, Barry has spoken about how certain lyrics or melodies can unexpectedly trigger memories, making performances unpredictable emotionally. A line sung in perfect technical harmony can suddenly resonate with sorrow, joy, or remembrance, depending on the moment and memory it evokes. The interplay of past and present in these performances creates a living dialogue between Barry, his brother's legacies, and the audience. It is a reminder that music, at its core, is a reflection of life itself, full of beauty, heartache, and connection. Moreover, Barry's journey illustrates how grief can coexist with artistry, shaping rather than diminishing creative expression. Instead of retreating from the stage after losing his brothers, Barry embraced the challenge of performing alone, allowing the music itself to carry their presence forward. In doing so, he has transformed each concert into an intimate experience that goes far beyond nostalgia. Listeners do not just hear a song. They feel the echoes of a family's shared life, the invisible harmonies of lost voices, and the enduring commitment of a man determined to honor his brothers. Through this lens, the Bee Gees' music transcends an original era, becoming a timeless testament to love, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds of family. Barry's story reminds us that the power of music is not only in its melodies or commercial success, but in its capacity to preserve memory, express emotion, and create a space where the past and present coexist in every note sung, every pause observed, and every harmony remembered. In essence, Barry Gibb stands as a guardian of both music and memory, ensuring that the voices of the Bee Gees continue to resonate across generations, long after the brothers themselves have passed. Another remarkable dimension of Barry Gibb's journey is how he has balanced his role as a performer with the responsibility of preserving the Bee Gees. In the years following the deaths of Andy, Maurice, and Robin, Barry became not only the last surviving Gibb brother, but also the primary caretaker of the group's history, memories, and impact. Each song he performs is infused with layers of meaning far beyond the original composition, and every harmony he sings carries the invisible presence of his brothers. For example, when Barry performs To Love Somebody, he is not merely delivering a classic hit. He is connected with a voice that once shared the stage and studio, reflecting on moments of laughter, argument, and collaboration that defined a lifetime of music making. This dual role, as both entertainer and memorialist, requires emotional resilience and deep introspection. While the audience experiences entertainment, Barry is simultaneously navigating a private landscape of remembrance, reflection, and emotional reconnection. His attention to detail in live performances further illustrates this balance. The pauses, slight hesitations, and glances at empty spaces on stage all reflect a man attuned to what has been lost. These subtle gestures are not theatrical or staged. They are natural expressions of grief and memory, moments where the past intrudes upon the present in the most human way. Over decades, Barry has learned to integrate these emotions into his craft, creating performances that are not only musically precise, but also deeply moving. The impact on fans is significant. Even those unaware of the full story often sense that something profound is occurring on stage, recognizing the emotional honesty in Barry's voice and gestures. This connection between performer and audience is strengthened by Barry's transparency in interviews, where he openly reflects on the pain, love, and responsibility he carries as the last Gibb brother. He speaks about the burden of remembering, the weight of being the sole custodian of shared experiences, and the challenges of continuing to perform songs originally meant to include his brothers. In doing so, he demonstrates that grief can coexist with creativity and that loss, rather than diminishing artistic expression, can enrich it with emotional depth and authenticity. Songs like I Started a Joke and Immortality illustrate this duality perfectly. What began as compositions for a group or other artists has evolved into personal meditations on memory, mortality, and connection. The harmonies, once a collaborative effort, now act as a bridge to the past, allowing Barry to maintain a dialogue with his brothers even in their absence. This ability to transform personal sorrow into artistic expression is rare and speaks to the unique power of Barry Gibb as both an artist and a human being. Beyond the stage, his approach to grief and memory has influenced how audiences perceive the Bee Gees' music. Fans are not only celebrating the group's historic success, but are also invited into an intimate space where the emotional weight of the songs becomes palpable. Barry's story is a reminder that music is not just sound or entertainment. It is a vessel for preserving life's moments, relationships, and emotions. Through his performances, Barry teaches that true artistry encompasses more than technical skill. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront and share one's deepest emotions. In essence, Barry Gibb has become a living archive of both music and memory, ensuring that the legacy of the Bee Gees, along with the spirit of his brothers, continues to resonate in every note, pause, and harmony. His ability to honor the past while still performing for the present underscores a profound human capacity for resilience, remembrance, and artistic expression, making every concert not just a musical event, but an emotional journey shared between performer and audience. The profound emotional layers in Barry Gibb's performances are perhaps most evident